In just one lifetime, a single nation has written a story of transformation that's, well, it's so radical it borders on the impossible. I mean, think about it. Rising from the absolute depths of despair to the very heights of global influence. This is the story of South Korea.
So let's go back. This was Seoul in 1953. I mean, just look at it. The capital city was nothing but rubble. The country wasn't just broken, it was almost erased by war. The economy? Totally destroyed. Its people scattered. And the future? It was just a blank, absolutely terrifying canvas.
And now, this is Seoul today. Wow, a hyper-modern metropolis that's just buzzing with energy. It's the heart of a global economic and cultural powerhouse. It's this incredible city where you can see ancient palaces standing right in the shadow of gleaming skyscrapers. The contrast is just stunning.
So you have to ask, right? How on earth did this happen? How does a nation go from that to this? To really get a grip on the dazzling present, we've got to look back. We have to confront the brutal, brutal realities of its past, because that past is what forged the nation's character through unimaginable hardship.
Okay, so let's get into it. South Korea's modern identity wasn't just built. It was forged, literally. Forged in the fires of colonialism, division, and a catastrophic war that left scars you can still feel today.
This timeline, man, it really shows you just how much trauma was packed into a few short decades. It's relentless. First, you've got 1910, when Japan annexes Korea. And this wasn't just an occupation. It was a brutal colonial rule that tried to completely erase Korean identity. Then, bam, 1945. Japan loses World War II, and what happens? A sudden, totally arbitrary division at the 38th parallel? A line on a map that literally splits a people in two. And if that wasn't enough, just 5 years later, a devastating war breaks out, pitting brother against brother.
And the scale of that war, it's almost impossible to really wrap your head around. 3 million Koreans dead. Just let that sink in. It's a staggering number, making it one of the absolute deadliest conflicts of the entire Cold War. The whole peninsula, both north and south, was just left in total ruin.
But from those ashes, something truly extraordinary started to happen. An economic explosion so fast, so profound, that it completely reshaped the nation and just stunned the world. They call it the miracle on the Han River.
Okay, check out this graph. This really puts that miracle into perspective, doesn't it? Just look at the sheer speed of the change. We're talking from the 1960s to the 1990s. South Korea's economy grew on average 10% every single year. That is an absolutely insane rate of growth. It's one of the fastest economic climbs in all of modern history.
So what was driving this? Well, this incredible growth was powered by these massive industrial conglomerates called chaebol. You've heard of them, even if you don't know the name. With a lot of strategic government backing, family-run companies, think Samsung, think LG, they transformed from pretty small businesses into the global giants we all know today. They became the engines of the entire nation's economy.
But, and this is a really big but, this economic miracle didn't come for free. It came at a steep political and social price. See, the very same government that engineered this incredible economic boom did it with an iron fist, through authoritarian rule. They suppressed dissent and denied their own people basic freedoms.
So you've got this tension building, right? The country was getting richer, no doubt about it, but the people, they weren't free. And as the economy grew, this new, educated middle class started to emerge. And with it came a demand for something more than just money. They wanted democracy.
And that really became the central question for an entire generation. What's the point of progress without liberty? For decades, incredibly courageous student-led movements and just massive nationwide protests kept challenging the authoritarian rule over and over again, and they often did it at huge personal risk.
Believe me, this was a long, painful struggle. It was defined by decades of brutal military rule under leaders like Park Chung-hee and Chun Doo-hwan who just crushed any dissent. And you had these key, tragic events like the Gwangju Uprising in 1980. Pro-democracy protests were just violently suppressed. But instead of scaring people into silence, it only fueled the public's resolve for change.
And that's the crucial thing to understand here. The whole movement was driven by this incredibly powerful belief that true national strength isn't just about economic power, it's about liberty, it's about dignity, it's about giving the people a voice.
And then, in 1987, it happened. After the massive June democratic struggle, where millions took to the streets, the government finally gave in. It yielded to the people's demands, paving the way for the country's first truly democratic elections. What an incredible moment. It established the vibrant democracy that defines South Korea today, a true, hard-won victory for the people.
Okay, so let's recap. You've got an economic miracle, you've got a political miracle, so what's next? Well, South Korea then began its third act, and this one might be the most surprising of all. It became a global cultural superpower.
See, the nation had already mastered what we call hard power. A top-tier economy, a really strong military. But in the 21st century, it started to master soft power. And that's the ability to influence the world not through force, but through attraction and persuasion. In other words, through its culture.
And this cultural phenomenon, known as Hallyu or the Korean Wave, just exploded. It swept across the globe with this incredible force. And it wasn't just one thing, right? It was this potent mix of super-polished K-pop, addictive K-dramas, amazing cinema, technology, food, the whole shebang.
And the results? I mean, they're undeniable. You've got global superstars like BTS, groundbreaking films like the Oscar-winning Parasite. They showed the world that South Korea had reinvented itself again, this time as a trend-setting cultural force to be reckoned with.
But, this incredible national story isn't over. And it's not without its cliffhangers, because just beneath that dazzling surface of modern South Korea, you'll find some of the most profound challenges anywhere on Earth.
Just look at this number, 0.72. In 2023, that was South Korea's fertility rate. That means less than 1 child per woman. That's not just low, it is the lowest fertility rate in the entire world. This is a full-blown demographic crisis in the making.
So the very nation that built itself up so quickly now finds itself confronting a perfect storm of challenges. You've got a shrinking population. You've got a society that's aging faster than any other developed country. And then there's the constant, looming, unresolved threat of war with North Korea, a conflict that technically never ended.
When you look back, the story of South Korea is really a testament to resilience, to innovation, and just the sheer power of human will. It's a story of a nation that, time and time again, achieved what everyone thought was impossible. So the question now is, can it do it again? The next chapter of this incredible story remains unwritten.